Hello, this is Seth Welling, and welcome to another AFI 100 Greatest American Film List review. Today, we're going to bring you Annie Hall, a 1977 film directed by Woody Allen. And Woody Allen, whenever he directs, it seems he also stars in it. Annie Hall occupies the 31st position of the 1998 list and the 35th position of the 2007 list. Now, this movie was supposed to be what one guy thinks love is, Woody Allen's idea, and it turned into something different. Now, if you heard that thump, it's because the snow is melting off the roof. So bear with me with that. So it's one guy's view on love, but it became something else. It's basically a commentary on lust versus emotional love, like sex and love. And in this movie, Woody Allen's character is trying to get back Annie Hall, which is played by Diane Keaton. He has this neurosis from childhood about a sex obsession, which many of us do, especially if we grew up in more repressive households. So his mother was not open to him about sex and the birds and bees, so he wanted more and more and began to pursue it and act out in school, and so it led him to a romance with Annie Hall. Now, Woody Allen is Jewish, and Diane Keaton's character is Anglo-Saxon, or WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So there's a cultural difference. And I thought it was also kind of Freudian, because he flashes back to this whole mother issue of his mom not being upfront with him about relationships. And of course, it was filmed in 77, and so that would make the late 40s, 50s, the time when he was growing up, and people weren't forthcoming about sex and the birds and the bees. I remember a story that my grandfather, when my aunt was growing up, she said sex one time at the table and she went to bed, no conversation about protecting yourself or love versus lust like some parents have today with their kids in order to protect them. Woody Allen's character was all screwed up over lusting after Annie Hall versus emotionally loving Annie Hall. And Annie Hall always loved Woody Allen's character in an emotional way. So what happens is keeps on having these failing relationships, and Annie Hall was different because they were friends and they liked to hang out, and they couldn't get around the sex part, which is a very common thing, I guess, to happen in relationships. So he was trying to talk to the everyman. The way Woody Allen does his movies is he's in the movie and he also interjects himself as the all-knowing narrator who can travel back and forth along the timeline from childhood to adulthood, before and after a relationship. It's like if the narrator was watching anyhow on DVD or streaming, making comments, on just going back and forth with the slider. And saying, well, from this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. And I thought it was very cerebral for today's audiences. It might have been a sensation in 1977, which talked about therapy and psychoanalysis and that type of thing that we normally talk about now in every sitcom, or, it's commonplace. In 1977, it wasn't commonplace. And the whole Jewish-Gentile relationship wasn't commonplace, wasn't discussed. It happened. People were always intermarrying, of course, but they just didn't have a roadmap about this is how a relationship could look like, and these are the problems within a relationship that stem from different cultures. And it's a very New York movie, because Woody Allen is New York-based filmmaker, always has been. I found it to be a art house, very art house, whereas today's films that win awards like Moonlight. Well, Moonlight was kind of art house, but I thought La La Land was more art house. It was more musical and a drama and musical. This wasn't a musical, but it almost didn't have any music in it. It was very indie feeling for me. And it was very influential on anatomy or relationship films like When Harry Met Sally, 500 Days of Summer, Kevin Smith's Chasing Amy. A lot of commenting on yourself, a lot of talking, but I don't think the characters are self-realizing. So they're just talking about their feelings, but they're not talking about how they're creating the situation in which they exist. You create your own reality type of thing. And I think it's true of most people. I mean, me too. We all create our own reality, and no one realizes that even if it's pointed out to us, it's just beyond what we are capable of seeing about ourselves. Along with that, with a relationship with a Gentile and Jewish person, there's going to be some hate from, this time the hate from Annie Hall's grandmother, who thinks that Jews are horrible, money-grubbing people. All the while, she's doing the very acts that she says she despises, because that's what she hears about Jewish people. When, Jewish people are just people with different culture than you, maybe different culture from you, maybe a lot of the same. We're more the same than different. I found that it was also very male lens, like in other films, like Rocky, most villains, where, yeah, like, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and I'm a guy, and I'm not taking into account for Annie Hall's perspective on this movie, because there is no Annie Hall perspective at all. Is Woody Allen's character. And, you know, that's really one-sided, and it doesn't make it easier for me to connect with this film. Being art house, being so 41 years out of its contemporary time. But it is a good film. It does help people understand relationships a little bit better. I guess I don't really like Woody Allen. I mean, my favorite film of his was Love and Death, and that was crazy. It's a little more cinema, a little more truth than Love and Death. Love and Death was kind of avant-garde and silly. And this is supposed to be a comedy, but I don't think it's a comedy. I think it's a slice of life thing. It's very European, but I think you should see it. I'm also a little put off about Woody Allen because of what I know about his life like 20 years ago when he dumped Mia Farrow for his stepdaughter. And that's a little bit beyond the pale, but that's my own bias, and it shouldn't stop you from seeing this film. So I hope you have a good day. Click like and subscribe. Comment if you want to. Have a good day.